Hi there. It's been a while since I uploaded a video to this channel, and I haven't been doing very much in the way of writing, or I've been doing plenty of thinking, but I don't really think that it's more useful to you to know about the contents of my thoughts, re Gnosticism, and other subjects really. I've been doing my gardening, and I've been doing my meditation regularly, sometimes twice a day. And I've also been doing my music, which is very hard, especially now as my eyesight is so poor. And I find it very difficult to read what they call MIDI notes on a sequence of stuff in a digital audio workstation, which is the means by which I create my music. And of course, I find it almost impossible now to read a score either. So, life is a bit tough as far as the creativity is concerned. And the meditation, well, it's kind of fluctuates up and down, different results on different days, of course, which one would expect. But perhaps a little bit more of a method is emerging, which I might describe in a while, because it might be helpful to you as someone who's under undertaking a program of meditation, or learning to meditate daily. And so that's I might do that in the future. As far as thinking about things, as I say, and philosophizing, I don't think there's very much more to say really on the topic of Gnosticism. I mean, I would refer you to my video, the Gnostic Rule, and how to live as a Gnostic. And of course, that's one thing, to live as a Gnostic. But to have gnosis is a completely different thing, and I realize now that you can't make a gnosis. You can't make gnosis happen in your life by doing a ritual, or by doing meditation, or praying, or doing anything other activity. You can't make something happen. Basically, it'll either happen or not happen, according to a complex set of rules of which we know nothing about, or complex set of circumstances which we know nothing about. And when I think about gnosis, and when I reflect on gnosis, I do of course reflect on the experience of Thomas, one of the apostles to Christ. And of course, I suppose a lot of people know the story of doubting Thomas, that that he didn't believe that Jesus was resurrected until he'd put his hands in the stigmata of Christ, and felt the side of Jesus, and felt the scar of where the centurion had thrusted his sword or spear into the side of Christ. And he had to feel where the crown of thorns had indented the skull, and so that he could know that Jesus had been crucified, and he knew that Jesus was really in the room, present. So basically, what I'm saying is that and that was a Gnostic experience, because it was experience. It wasn't faith, it wasn't belief, it wasn't dream, it wasn't reverie, it wasn't trance, it wasn't a ritually induced trance, or a trance induced by meditation or anything, or prayer, or ecstasy. Jesus was simply there, present, and you might be sitting at a table now with your computer, or whatever, and the things that are around you are present, okay, and you can see them, feel them, hear them, touch them. So he had to be able to touch Jesus as if Jesus was an object, was a table, was part of what we call reality. And that was the only way Thomas was going to believe. And after he had touched Jesus and touched the stigmata, then he believed. But what I find interesting about the story of doubting Thomas, so called, is that Jesus actually complied with his wish. to be physically present. Well, not exactly complied, but he actually was physically present. So he didn't come on a cloud, he didn't come in a vision or a trance or as a dream or anything like that. He actually came as the physical being, as resurrected from death. And that's incredibly significant. So what I'm saying is that that's how strong your Gnostic experience has to be. And I think of the birth story in Matthew, of the angel with the tidings of great joy. The shepherds actually threw themselves to the ground in fear, because it seemed to them that the angel of the Lord actually was there, in the same way as their sheep were there, or their sandals were there, or was anything else, or the stars were there overhead. And they were frightened. They were frightened as you would be. If there was literally Jesus standing there before you, or the angel of the Lord standing there before you, and you had no doubt that the angel was standing there before you because you could see it, smell it, perhaps touch it. It would seem as real to you as the philosopher's table. Philosophers are always talking about tables and whether they're real or not. And they come to the conclusion that tables are real, and so that would have to be your experience. So it's Gnosticism is an experiential. It's a religion that arises from a definite experience, as definite as those shepherds with the angel of the Lord, as definite as Thomas seeing Jesus and touching the stigmata. So that's the kind of order of reality that we're talking about, the order of experience that we're talking about. But of course, meditation and prayer and religious observance and morality, they are important, but not essential to the Gnostic process. I don't think it's not like you're making yourself worthy exactly. Although perhaps worthiness is a factor that comes into it. You could have a Gnostic experience and you could be a serial killer and locked in a prison cell, and Jesus might come to you in actual person. People have seen and touched and felt Sai Baba, for example, appear to them, as a real person. But it wasn't the meditation that drew Sai Baba to you. You can't invoke Sai Baba or Jesus as you can a demon or a spirit or something like that. It doesn't work like that. You don't call the Holy Spirit; it calls you. And all you can basically do is live by the rule of the Gnostic, and maybe Gnosticism, the Gnostic experience will never happen to you. And that's not for you to say. That's not for you to judge. That's not for you to say, I wonder why Jesus has forgotten me. Because even to say that, ask that question is a question of faith and belief. And Gnosticism is not about faith and belief. It is about experience and the immediacy and the absolute reality of experience. And when Jesus comes to you, as it says in the book of Revelation, you'll be under no doubt that Jesus is present. And simply as you're under no doubt that you're sitting here watching me doodle on the computer. It'll be that obvious to you. Okay, and everything else basically, is just a dream. It's just a trance. It's just people saying stuff as people, it's just words on the page. And there may be lovely words and beautiful words like they are in Psalms, but they are just words until the actual experience of Christ is felt in you. Now, you can feel love for God and love for Jesus in your heart, and that's a real feeling. That's not a trance or a dream or a fantasy or some kind of hallucinogenic experience. That is real. So insofar as you can feel, your feelings are real, and if you feel or cultivate agape, certainly that is a real feeling that you can cultivate for God. And so insofar as that is real, then you can be said to be a Gnostic in the sense that you're cultivating agape. But even that is not the same as gnosis. When you have gnosis, you will have gnosis, and gnosis will come to you, no matter how you're feeling. I mean, you could be frightened of the appearance of Jesus initially, or the angel of the Lord, like the shepherds. In the book of Matthew, you could be frightened. You could throw yourself to the ground. Wouldn't make any difference. The gnosis would still happen to you. Gnosis is like death. You can be frightened of death, but death is still an inevitable occurrence that you are going to have to go through. And it doesn't. Death doesn't care whether you're frightened of dying. It's just going to come to you one day, and that's it. And so therefore, same with gnosis, it will come to you, and no matter how you react to it, it will still be there. It's like you look at a table, and you might not like the table, but the table isn't going away because you don't like it, which is a kind of a negative way of saying the table appears to you out of the ethers, and it will be a real table if a table is going to appear to you. So from out of nowhere, from nothing, unexpectedly, without you asking for it, Jesus will appear as completely as real as the table is real. And you can imagine that if a table appeared in front of you, which you could touch and you could smell and you could feel and you could see, as if it was a real table, and it occupied three-dimensional space as if it was real, then you would be under no doubt that a miracle had just occurred. That's what a miracle is. And there would be no doubt in your mind that a miracle had occurred, and there was nothing that you had done to make it happen. You hadn't done a ritual, or been in a trance, or taken an hallucinogenic drug, or be in a sort of half dream state. Waking up sometimes. Dreams can seem very, very real when you're sort of waking up and you're sort of half asleep, half dreaming still. But it would be more than that. So if we're talking about orders of reality, the appearance of Jesus and the appearance of an angel of the Lord would be on the absolute highest order of the experience of reality. And so basically, that hasn't happened to me. I think, but as far as belief is concerned, perhaps I have a disbelief of belief, and I was going to cover this in a complex video talking about belief and non-belief, and categorizing belief and non-belief into different categories and exploring each category. But I don't think I'm going to go there because that's too much intellectualization. You live the Gnostic life. You meditate. You're an ethical person. You're a creative person. You represent God in various artistic ways, which is the highest calling of any artist. And you live as a Gnostic on one hand, and you wait. You are waiting. Well, waiting in inverted commas for a Gnostic experience, but you're not waiting with any kind of expectation at all of a Gnostic experience. And of course, you will object to this and say, "Oh well, this statement itself implies expectation." So you must really, I think, one of the tasks of a Gnostic is also to get rid of all expectation from your mind, and not to seek out Jesus anywhere, and because Jesus will seek you out, not the other way around. And I know that possibly goes against John Bunyan's idea of seeking out the holy city by leading the Christian life. But I think he means the city of God in a metaphorical way, because he is John Bunyan after all. He's a Protestant. But be assured that when you enter the city of God, you will be entering a city. of God, not a city of God as something ethereal or phantasmic. It will be the city of God, the city of God, with the emphasis on city, as in bricks and mortar. Okay, we're talking about that level of reality. So having sort of planted the seed of that thought in your mind via this video presentation, then you can see basically it may help you to avoid seeking and to avoid mistaking a phantasmic experience with the real experience of God, which is not a fantasy and not based on faith and not based on belief or some kind of drug or ritual or some kind of strange mental activity, but it just is there. 1 minute it's not there, and the next minute is there. Okay, and when it is there, after that experience, then it's up to you to run with that experience, however far you want to run with it, and you must express the experience to the world in however you wish, in whatever way you wish to convey that experience. But people will say to you, you've just had a dream, or you've just taken too many mushrooms or whatever, and that's fine, because of course until it happens to them, I suppose it will seem fantastic and unbelievable to anybody who's outside your own mind. Only you will know that it's absolutely real. And I suppose that's kind of why Gnosticism is a lonely path. But the Gnostic experience is is a very lonely experience, because it's the only you have had this experience, unless you meet with other people who believe you. You will find that most people don't believe you, because why should they believe you? And of course, it isn't important that they believe you. You're not trying to set yourself up as some kind of guru or some kind of I don't know, emissary, or some kind of god yourself, heaven forbid. You don't want to be worshipped because you've had the Gnostic experience. That would be hubris. That would be contemptible in the highest degree. That's all really I want to say to keep this channel going. And I might go into a bit more detail about meditation and about what I have found to be useful when you're meditating. But meditating without any result, you must remove all expectation of result from your meditation and from your life and from this label that you might wear around your neck called Gnostic. Okay, remove all the expectation altogether, once and for all. And don't even think that will initiate something. You really don't initiate anything, really. If you get hit by a meteorite one day by walking down the path, you didn't initiate that. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything to bring that meteorite to your head. And when Jesus appears, when the Holy Spirit appears in some guise or another, it will be nothing that you have done to have warranted that experience. Okay, so having emphasized this point rather strongly and repetitively even, I will say goodbye to you now, and post perhaps in the future when I have something else to say.